Welcome to Wednesday Watercolors, and today we are going to be painting this tutorial, which is one of my favorites, this sunset fern painting. Hey friends, I'm Gitu, your Colourful Mystique, and without any further ado, let's get straight to the painting. So this is almost like an A4 sheet that I am going to use. And as usual, now I'm gonna apply water to the back side of my paper. Okay, so this is going to be in portrait mode. Okay, so let's apply water to the back side of my paper. Make sure that we cover the entire back side of our paper nicely with water. Take your time to cover up the entire back surface of the paper without leaving any areas without the water touching. So this is the reason why I use a flat brush, because it covers a larger surface area and it's helpful in applying and spreading the water around. Okay, now that we've applied water to the back side, let's apply water to the front side. Now that I've applied the water, let me just quickly wipe it off from the edges, because I don't want any water to be sweeping back into my paper while I'm painting, because you see all these water outside, that's going to seep back into our paper if we don't wipe it off. Okay, so along the edges, just rub a tissue or whatever you're using. It could be a cloth also. Okay, and maybe just tilt your paper a bit so that if there's any extra water, that'll seep out as well, so that you can wipe it off. Okay, so there's water accumulated here on this side. Actually, I can see it. See, the water dropped onto my table here. So let's wipe that off. Okay, I think it's good enough. So if you see some areas that have started to lose the water, you can apply it on the top, but this time if you want, you can make sure for it to not go outside, but I wouldn't look at that because I'll just wipe it off again. That's it. Because this process of applying the water multiple times is completely and very, very important. Completely important. So this is the reason why I do it multiple times. Obviously, it takes a lot of patience to complete this process because, you know, people get frustrated like, oh my god, how many times do I need to apply the water? But then you'll see the end results when you're painting, because then your paper stays wet for a longer duration of time and you get the beautiful effects that you want to achieve with the wet on wet technique. So this is the reason why I take my time to do it and not fuss over how much time this is taking, because this is the most important part of that painting process, to get our paintings to look beautiful. So let's get to the painting process now. Here I'm going to use my size 16 Xcoda brush. It's size 16, so you can imagine it's quite large, okay? And I'm gonna start with a nice blue shade that I want. So here is my cobalt blue or cerulean blue, whichever you want you can use, okay? So I am gonna go with cobalt blue and I'm mixing it nicely on my palette, okay, because I want a very lighter shade. So remember that watercolors tend to get lighter after it dries, so this is the reason first I'm going with a nice a bit darker shade, but then it'll get lighter, okay? But I'm using a lot of water to make it lighter. Okay, there, that's the color I want. And I'm going to start applying at the top. So this is going to anyways get lighter, so this is the reason. Okay, so I've washed off the brush now and I'm just gonna rub on the top again, okay, so that it gets slightly lighter. Now the next color I'm gonna use is orange. So here is my orange, okay, and I'm gonna apply it right below the blue that we have applied, okay. Orange right below the blue. So the reason why we apply that orange right below the blue is the blue and orange will mix to form grays but won't form any greens, rather than using a yellow color there, okay. Now we'll get on to the next colors, which is one of my favorite, Indian gold shade. So you can see it's a nice golden shade. I have it here in this corner, okay, so that's Indian gold, and we'll apply that. See how beautiful and gorgeous that color is. So this is the reason I wanted to apply Indian gold, but then I'm applying right below the orange so that it doesn't, you know, mix to form blue with my green. So here, mix the Indian gold nicely and I'll apply it onto my paper. So here what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a large circle here, okay, with my brush, and I'm going to apply the Indian gold around that circle, okay. So around that circle towards the outside is what I'm going to apply the Indian gold. Okay, there towards the outside in the circle I have applied, and let's just blend those orange and the golden shades together. Okay, so now that we've blended the Indian gold, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a bit of yellow shade. Okay, so that's a nice Indian yellow shade. So the other one was Indian gold and this is Indian yellow, and now using the Indian yellow I'm going to apply towards the inside of that circle. So you see it's a lighter tone towards the inside, Okay, lighter tone towards the inside, and leave that large circle there. And I've applied the yellow. I'm going to go back to adding the Indian gold shade towards the outside, okay, of that yellow. So we want it to be having a clear blend between the yellow and the golden shade, okay. Okay, so now I'll take my Indian gold again and just go around in the outer edges, okay, because I want the outer edges to have this nice dark contrasting color, and also towards the bottom, okay. Okay, and then I'm gonna pick up some orange and we'll add it to the top here so that it blends nicely with our yellows that we have already added. Okay, see the orange, add the nice orange to the top. Okay, and then once we have added the orange, let's go back to adding the blue. I accidentally dropped a bit of water on my paper, but let's just go with a bit more orange and add the tone. We'll just go off. Okay, yeah, I think that's good enough for the background. So we have the bright spot here for the sun, okay. So I'm just gonna use my nice calligraphy brush to, you know, mix up this yellow here because I feel that it's standing out too much. So I'll take my yellow and start just going around here in this area so that it doesn't look weird and blends smoothly. Okay, I think that's good enough now. Let's not ruin it anymore. So now what we need is to move on to a synthetic brush so that we can add some background elements, okay, which are blurred, and that means blurry elements in the background. That's what we're going to add. So here I'm going to move on to my synthetic brush, okay, and using my synthetic brush, what we are going to do is we're going to add them in a nice brown shade. So here is my brown. Oops, that's not brown, that's Perylene Violet. This is the brown. Okay, yeah. So that's my transparent brown shade. Okay, there it is. Okay, I've taken the nice brown on my brush and we're going to add a lot of background elements. Okay, so we're gonna start from the corner. And we're going to add it like a branch. Okay, goes all the way to the top. So let's make it more dark because I want it to be a bit more darker. I think we'll mix it with a little teeny tiny amount of, either you can mix it with Payne's Grey or maybe a color like Perylene Violet or just violet itself. That'll make it darker. I think I'll go with violet. So that'll make my brown more dark. Okay, yeah. And there. Okay, and then actually if you want you can go and use a liner brush, but here I'm just using my size 2 brush, which is synthetic. Okay, and remember these are just some blurred branches that we are adding. Okay, see, they all appear to be blurred because we're just adding them in a blurred format. Okay, okay, let's get to this side. So we need to work on this quickly before the background dries. So the paper is still wet. So this is the reason why I said that if we apply water to the both sides of the paper, you know, we get all of these time for us to work on. See, so just added lots of background elements. When these dry up, they'll be like the background itself. So that'll give us more freedom to add foreground elements. See? Okay, more here, but as I approach towards the bottom, I am going to mix it up with a little bit of Indian gold. Okay, because I want it to be a nice golden shade there. Okay, so here's my Indian gold. So I'm going to mix my brown with a nice Indian gold shade so that I'll get a golden shade. Or you can go ahead and directly use Indian gold as well. Okay, so I might use I'll use some Indian gold shades directly also, because this is like closer to the sun, so we need it to be in a golden shade. Okay, and towards the top side you can go back to being the other color. Okay. Now I'll pick up more Indian gold and start adding to this side. Okay, so that was the background that we have added. Let's just add a further background at the bottom. So for that, I'm gonna go with my Indian gold shade again. Okay, and we'll draw like a line. There, adding it like a line. So this line will also be blurry because the paper is still wet. Okay, so I've added those lines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create like a nice sun's ray here on this sheet. So I've dried up my brush and following along the direction, I'm going to do that. Okay, see, so I've lifted off some paint in that direction, and I'll do the same in some more angles from the center. See, we can use a synthetic brush also, because that absorbs or it doesn't introduce more water onto the paper, but rather helps in the lifting process. Remember to wash the brush or to dry up your brush each time when you're doing this. Okay, we have to be very careful. Okay, I think that's good enough. We'll just add some more branch here at the bottom. So I'm gonna use a nice Indian gold mixed with that brown shade, so you can see that nice brown shade that we have got, and I'm gonna do it in the corner here. Okay, so that's Indian gold and this brown shade. So just added up this nice brown leaf kind of thing. Let's add some more. Okay, I think I will add another one, and you can see I'm using the full length of my brush. There, just added like a blurry leaf. We'll add to the right side as well. Okay, I think that's good enough for now. So now what I'll do is I'm gonna add, using yellow, we're gonna add some foreground. So this is starting to dry, so we have to be very careful. Okay, I'm gonna use my yellow and add in some ends of the branch that I want to add. Okay, so you can see this is in this line, this follows along that line, this one along there. Okay, so it's right there because of the sun. Okay, so I've dried my brush and I'm gonna pull this downward a little, see, so that it looks as though it's getting blurred off in that sun's rays. Then towards the top of those lines, I'll go with Indian gold. Okay, so go all the way up there. Then the next one I'll take and go all the way there. Okay, there. So I'll switch to my liner brush now, and I'll take that brown mixture, brown and Indian gold mixture, and I'll use that to draw the base lines of those twigs that we just added. Okay, there. And obviously towards the top they can be brown, so following along the line. Now we'll quickly dry this whole thing up so that we can add it into the foreground. Okay, so the whole thing is now dry. Let's get to painting. So first we are going to use this Indian gold shade. Okay, a nice Indian gold shade, and that's what we're going to add here. Okay, you can see I've added that Indian gold shade, but what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lighten it up towards the base here. See, just a bit, so that it looks as though it's blurred towards that area. Then we'll get back to adding the Indian gold all the way to the top. So this is the most time consuming process in this painting, to add these branches. Okay, so first I'll be adding them with Indian gold. Okay, and I'm just using my size 6 brush, which is synthetic. Okay, because this time we don't want it to have a lot of water on our brush. There, do the same to the other side. Okay, and we do the same to the next one. So this one is kind of like a wobbly shape, a little to the left, a little to the right, like that. Okay. Okay, there, added that. Then let's get to the next one. So adding it lighter here towards the bottom, because that's where the sun is. You can see that. Okay, so I've added the Indian gold at first. Now what we are going to do is we're going to go over it with brown. Okay, so let's mix our brown paint nicely. Okay, so there is my brown paint. And we're going to go over the top of the Indian gold. So the reason why we applied the Indian gold at first is it's because it'll give that shade of gold at the bottom, making it look as though, you know, it's got some nice areas reflecting off. Okay. See what we are doing here? Okay, as we get towards the bottom, we have to lighten up our round shade because we want it to be more of going towards the sun area. So remember, mix it up with a little bit of that golden. Okay, and lighten your strokes. So there, I've lightened up my strokes. So you can see how that goes darker towards the top. We'll use the same technique for the next one, okay? But remember, for the next one, it was like in a wobbly shape. So we're gonna do that. Okay, so let's add. There, that's looking nice, isn't it? So towards the bottom, let's again mix that nice golden brown shade and go lighter. Then let's do the same for the next one. For all the ones, we'll just quickly add. There, added to one at the bottom, then what else? Strengthen the stem of each. Okay, let's take more. Okay, I think that's good enough. I'm gonna just add like a bit more darker tones to some area to the top. So here I've mixed it with a little bit of Payne's Grey and we make it more dark here at the top. Okay, just some areas because it's kind of like away from the sun, isn't it? So we need it to be darker. Okay, I think that's it. That's good enough. And actually that's it. We're complete. So I hope you like it. There you go. That's our final painting. I hope you enjoyed painting this with me. If so, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. See you in my next video.